So you're on Facebook, huh?
Well, I've been trying to figure it out. I joined about 10 minutes ago.
Well, better late than never. You want some help?
I'd love some, but really, you've got better things to do.
No, I need a diversion.
Do you have a friend that's from an older generation? Do you know the difference between vintage and old school? Join us in our latest Cinephile episode to find out, and be sure to visit our FUNDAY website for more. Hello everyone, I'm Wade, your Cinephile host. The Intern is a 2015 American buddy comedy drama film starring Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway. The plot follows a 70-year-old widower who becomes a senior intern at an online fashion website, where he forms an unlikely friendship with the company's workaholic CEO.
70-year-old Ben Whitaker is a retired executive from Dex One. After retirement, he traveled the world and learned all kinds of new skills, but found that without a set routine, he quickly became bored. One day, he sees an ad for a newly conceived position of senior intern at a fast-growing e-commerce fashion startup in Brooklyn called About the Fit. Founder and CEO Jules Austin had previously agreed to a community outreach program where seniors would intern at the firm. So, he creates a cover letter video, telling them all about himself and the reason for his application.
So here I am, applying to be one of your interns, because the more I think about this idea, the more tremendous I think it is. I love the idea of having a place I can go every day. I want the connection, the excitement, I want to be challenged, and I guess I might even want to be needed.
Ben impresses everyone and becomes one of the 4 hired. Ben is assigned to work with Jules, who's been skeptical about the whole senior program. Initially frozen out by her, Ben slowly wins over coworkers with his congeniality and gets into Jules' good graces. He also helps numerous employees with their tasks. Ben comes to work at 7 a.m. one morning to organize a messy desk that Jules had complained about previously.
Oh my God, somebody cleaned up that desk.
I swear I was gonna stay late and do this myself.
Wasn't me.
Ben came in at 7 this morning and did it.
Who?
Ben, your intern.
Ben Whitaker. Someone's very happy.
Brilliant! Thank you! Best thing that's happened around here all week.
After work, Ben happens to see Jules' chauffeur drinking, so he convinces him to tell her that he can't drive her and offers to drive Jules home himself. Early next morning, Ben is disturbed by Jules' assistant, who asks him to drive Jules that day again. He arrives early and is welcomed into the house by Jules' stay-at-home husband, Matt. Ben also meets their daughter, Paige. But on the drive to school, Jules asks for Ben to be transferred, because she felt that he was too observant and personal. However, by the end of the day, they bond over some pizza and beer. Jules even helps Ben create a Facebook profile, and Ben reveals that he's worked at the very same office for almost 40 years.
It's totally weird being back here.
Well, it feels like home. It's remodeled, but home.
The next day, Jules excitedly gets into the car, only to find that Ben has been replaced, as she had previously asked. Doris is a horrible driver. She nearly hits someone else's car and almost crashes into another, so Jules tracks down Ben's whereabouts and begs him to come back.
Look, I have a lot going on, and I'm a very private person, and at first, I don't know, I thought maybe this wasn't gonna work, but I was wrong. Let me get one of those.
No.
No.
Jules, no explanation necessary.
No, actually one is, because I am usually better than this. The truth is, something about you makes me feel calm, or more centered or something, and I could use that, obviously.
Ben meets and begins to develop a romantic relationship with the in-house masseuse therapist Fiona. who's also a senior, and becomes something of a father figure to several of the younger workers who look up to him by offering advice about issues such as love, clothing sense, and work-life balance. One chaotic morning, Jules made the mistake of sending a horrible email to her mother and seeks help from her employees to resolve it.
So I am counting on your good graces and brilliance to figure out a way to save my ass.
Truthfully, Jules, it's pretty impossible to hack into a server.
And you don't know her password?
No idea.
Jules, I think there's only one thing we can do.
What? Tell me I'm dying.
Me and the boys take off, we break into your mom's house, and we steal her computer.
Break into her house and steal the computer? Are you kidding me? That's freaking genius.
They drive over to the house and talk through their strategy. But an alarm system is set off once they enter the house. So they moved quickly in search of the laptop, while Ben calls Jules to try to figure out the passcode. The alarm goes off, but they manage to delete the email and narrowly avoid the police. That night, Jules invites them out for drinks and thanks them. She has a little too much to drink, but Ben takes care of her.
I'm leaving in a minute. Just working on making this the worst possible day for you.
No, not at all. You've had a stressful day.
How is it that you always manage to say the right thing, do the right thing, be the right thing? It's uncanny.
You get some rest.
I will. Thanks for everything.
Meanwhile, because of the fast growth of the company, Jules is under pressure to give up her post of CEO to someone outside of the company to help manage it. Due to the stress, her marriage with Matt slowly breaks apart, and the couple grow distant. When driving Paige home from a party, Ben discovers that Matt is having an affair. While on a business trip to interview a potential CEO candidate, Jules opens up to Ben and reveals that she knows about Matt's cheating, but did not confront Matt about it because she was not ready to deal with it.
I'm sure that's why I'm even considering this whole CEO thing, thinking maybe someone else coming in will help me get my life back on track.
Okay, that's it. I hate to be the feminist here between the two of us, but you should be able to have a huge career and be who you are without having to accept that your husband is having an affair or some kind of payback.
Right on.
I mean it.
Me too.
Jules meets with and hires the prospective CEO in an effort to buy herself time to save her marriage. When Jules goes to Ben's home the next day, Ben speaks openly with her, asking her to reconsider the decision to bring someone else to manage the company.
No one else is ever going to have that kind of commitment to your company, Jules. To me, it's pretty simple. About the Fit needs you, and if you don't mind me saying, you need it. Someone may come in with more experience than you, but they're never going to know what you know.
Greatly encouraged, Jules heads to the office ready to make the call, when Matt unexpectedly drops in at the office and urges her to reconsider, saying that he is sorry, ashamed, and wants to support her in her dreams. They make amends and Jules goes out looking for Ben to share the good news.
She finds Ben enjoying his Tai Chi class. He invites her to join, and as a symbolic act of her finding balance in her life, she finally lets herself relax and joins him in practicing Tai Chi. 接下来 Ruby 要揭晓今天电影迷高年级实习生的 Intern 要教我们些什么。So Ruby, what do you think about the outfit?
Well, you look smart with the tie on.
Why, thank you.
What inspired you to do so?
Well, Ben actually from the movie, who taught all the other young men to dress to impress.
Yeah, 讲究穿着以便给人留下好印象.
Exactly. The old school style was all about it.
Nice. So, is that tie vintage?
Wait, what's the difference between vintage and old school?
Well, old school is more like 传统的老派的, when vintage is usually used to describe 经典.
Oh, so vintage 有一点比较明显的夸奖意味. This is probably not vintage then.
Well, vintage can also be used to describe a drink. Do you know which?
Oh yeah, vintage wine, usually made in a particular year, and can be kept for several years.
Yes, 岁月让酒更香醇，价格也更高贵了.
Hey, so maybe one day this will become vintage too.
Maybe.
Well, I'm Wade.
I'm Ruby.
I hope you've learned something useful in this episode of Cinephile as I did. You can find more on the FUNDAY website.
Let's make every day a fun day.
What'd you do for work, Ben, before you retired?
I was a VP for Dex One.
Phone books?
No. I was in charge of printing. Before that, I ran sales and advertising.
Big jobs.